The Modern Warfare series didn't just change Call of Duty, it changed gaming forever. What started as a risky departure from World War II became the blueprint that every military shooter copied for the next decade. From the original that made everyone care about Captain Price's mustache, to the reboots that proved the franchise still had something to say, this is every Modern Warfare game. And trust me, this ride gets wild. Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, 2007. This is the game that made Call of Duty what it is today. No more Nazis, no more World War II. Infinity Ward said, "We're doing Modern Warfare now." CIA, terrorists, nuclear threats, and the kind of political thriller storyline that would make Tom Clancy jealous. You played as two main characters, Soap McTavish, a British SAS soldier, and Paul Jackson, a U.S. Marine. The campaign took you from the Middle East to Russia, following Captain Price and his legendary mustache, through missions that felt like you were starring in your own action movie. The story involved a Russian ultranationalist named Imran Zakhaev trying to restore the Soviet Union, and your job was to stop him before he nuked half the world. Simple premise, perfect execution. The campaign was absolutely perfect. Memorable characters like Captain Price, Gaz, and the villain Zakhaev, who you literally couldn't kill. Incredible set pieces like the AC-130 gunship mission Death from Above, where you rained hell from the sky. The sniper mission All Ghillied Up, where you crawled through Chernobyl in a ghillie suit. And that nuke scene in Shock and Awe that left everyone speechless. Seriously, if you played this game, you remember exactly where you were when that nuclear explosion went off, and you had to crawl through the aftermath as a dying soldier. That moment changed what people expected from video game storytelling. But the real revolution was multiplayer. And this is where COD became an addiction. Perks like Stopping Power, Juggernaut, and Martyrdom. Kill streaks like UAV, Airstrike, and the legendary attack helicopter that everyone feared. Custom classes where you could finally build your perfect loadout. And Prestige Mode. The genius system that made you restart your progress just to get a shiny new emblem and bragging rights. It weaponized progression and made addiction feel rewarding. The maps were legendary. Crash, Backlot, Crossfire, Shipment, and Vacant. Each one was perfectly designed for different playstyles. The weapon progression system with challenges for every gun, camo unlocks, and that satisfying ding when you leveled up. Everyone was screaming into their mics, sharing montages on YouTube, and grinding for days just to hit max prestige. This wasn't just a game. It was a cultural phenomenon that changed shooters forever. It proved that Modern Warfare could be more exciting than World War II, that progression systems could keep players hooked for months, and that Call of Duty was no longer just another shooter. It was the shooter. Modern Warfare 2, 2009. The sequel that broke the internet. And I'm not exaggerating. This game was everywhere. On the news, in political debates, and dominating every Xbox Live party chat. After Modern Warfare 1 set the bar impossibly high, somehow they managed to jump over it while doing a backflip. The campaign was absolutely insane. The story was a wild ride about Russian ultranationalists invading America, a rogue general betraying everyone, and the most controversial airport level in gaming history. Countries legitimately banned it. But the real story was about betrayal. Ghost, Soap, and Price versus General Shepard in the most betrayal-heavy campaign ever created. The final mission where you chase Shepard through Afghanistan and Soap throws a knife into his eye? Pure cinema. But multiplayer was where the real chaos lived. This is where COD multiplayer became completely unhinged. Akimbo 1,887 shotguns that could snipe people across the map. Commando Pro that lets you knife someone from 10 feet away, noob tubes with one-man army that gave you infinite grenades, and the UMP-45 that killed faster than most assault rifles. It was simultaneously the most fun and most broken COD ever made. The maps were legendary. Rust for 1 versus 1 quickscopes, Terminal for search and destroy, High Rise for trickshotting. The kill streaks were insane. 7 kills got you a Harrier, 9 kills got you a Pavlo, and 25 kills got you a tactical nuke that ended the game instantly. People would camp in corners for 20 minutes just trying to get that nuke. Everyone has a love-hate relationship with this one. You'd rage quit because someone cross-mapped you with akimbo shotguns, then immediately start another match because the game was just that addictive. It was the peak of COD's Wild West era before developers started caring about balance and fairness. Sometimes broken is better.
Modern Warfare 3, 2011.
The trilogy's conclusion that somehow felt incomplete. And that's probably the most frustrating thing about it. This was supposed to be the epic finale to the greatest shooter trilogy ever made. But it felt like Infinity Ward was playing it safe when they should have been going all out. The campaign was absolutely epic in scope. World War III breaks out, and you're fighting in New York, London, Paris, Berlin, and Russia, as the world literally burns around you. You played as multiple characters again. Soap McTavish, Captain Price, Yuri, a former associate of Makarov, and various soldiers from different armies. The story picked up right where MWII left off, with Makarov's Russian forces invading Europe, while Price and Soap hunt him down for revenge. Every mission was a blockbuster moment, and the global scale made it feel like the world was actually ending. But here's the tragedy that broke everyone's hearts. Soap dies. Not in some heroic sacrifice saving the world, but from his injuries in a random safe house in Prague. Captain Price tries to save him, but there's nothing he can do. People who had been playing as Soap since 2007 were devastated. The multiplayer felt safe after MWII's beautiful chaos, and that's where the disappointment crept in. Don't get me wrong, it was solid. The maps were great, the weapon balance was good, and they fixed most of MWII's broken mechanics. They introduced Kill Confirmed, which was actually brilliant. The kill streaks were redesigned into 3 categories: Assault, Support, and Specialist. The weapon proficiency system let you unlock attachments by using guns, which was cool. Survival mode was basically a co-op version of zombies, but with regular enemies instead of undead. The problem was that fans wanted innovation, not just MW2 but fixed. MW3 felt like playing with training wheels. It was a good game, but it wasn't revolutionary. Modern Warfare 2019. The soft reboot that saved the franchise. And honestly, it came at the perfect time. This wasn't just a return to Modern Warfare. It was a complete reimagining of what Call of Duty could be. You played as various characters across a campaign that wasn't afraid to show the ugly, uncomfortable side of modern conflict. Captain Price returned as the gruff SAS operator we all remembered, but older, more weathered, and carrying the weight of decades of Black Ops missions. Farah Karim was a freedom fighter in the fictional country of Urzikstan, fighting against both Russian occupation and chemical weapon attacks. Alex was a CIA operative caught between duty and conscience, questioning whether the ends justify the means. The Clean House mission became legendary almost immediately. You played as Price and his SAS team clearing a London townhouse suspected of housing terrorists. The night vision, the tension, the way you had to identify threats versus civilians. It was intense and showed that COD could deliver tactical, methodical gameplay alongside the explosive set pieces. But the real game changer was the multiplayer, which felt fresh for the first time in years. Cross-platform play united console and PC players in a way that seemed impossible just a few years earlier. PlayStation, Xbox, and PC players could all play together seamlessly, which was revolutionary for the franchise. The weapon customization was revolutionary. Gunsmith gave you unprecedented control over your weapons, with 5 attachment slots and dozens of options for each slot. You could turn an assault rifle into a sniper rifle, or a submachine gun into a close-quarters monster. Every attachment had trade-offs. Better range might mean worse mobility. Higher damage might mean more recoil. It was the most detailed weapon customization system COD had ever seen. The graphics were absolutely incredible. The lighting was photorealistic. The character models were detailed beyond belief, and the environments were stunning. The post-launch support was incredible. Free maps, new weapons, constant updates, and seasonal content kept the game fresh for months. The Battle Pass system was fair and rewarding, and the cosmetic options were extensive without being pay to win. It brought back lapsed fans, attracted new players, and reminded everyone why they fell in love with the franchise in the first place. Modern Warfare 2019 was truly a successful reboot.
Warzone 2020. In 2020, Warzone dropped. Surprisingly free to play, 150 players, and it exploded into a cultural phenomenon that dominated streaming and social media. You dropped into Verdansk, a massive map that combined locations from previous Modern Warfare games into one cohesive battlefield. The Gulag was genius. Instead of spectating when you died, you fought another dead player for a chance to respawn. Loadout drops let you use your custom weapons instead of just scavenging, and the cash system added strategy beyond just shooting. You could buy teammates back, purchase kill streaks, and even get intel on the next circle. It brought millions of new players to the franchise. It started as a side mode but became the main attraction.
Modern Warfare 2, 2022. The sequel that tried to recapture the magic of 2009. The campaign followed Task Force 141, Captain Price, Soap McTavish, Ghost, and new team member Alejandro Vargas as they hunted down Iranian Major Hassan Zyani and Mexican cartel leader El Sin Nombre. The story took you from Amsterdam to Mexico to Chicago with spectacular set pieces, including a prison break, a cartel compound raid, and a final mission in a Chicago skyscraper. Ghost finally got character development. Soap was more experienced, and the banter between characters felt natural. But the campaign was short, and the story felt rushed. Multiplayer was solid with refined mechanics from 2019, beautiful new maps, and the return of classic modes. Gunsmith 2.0 expanded weapon customization even further, and the new perk system divided abilities into packages. The graphics were stunning, the sound design was perfect, but something felt missing. It was a competent sequel that played things safe after the risks of the previous generation. Most people liked it but didn't love it. It was good Modern Warfare without being great Modern Warfare.
Warzone 2.0,
2022. The complete overhaul that nobody asked for. Instead of updating the original, they scrapped everything and started fresh with Al-Mazrah, a new map inspired by Middle Eastern geography. The Gulag became a 2 versus 2 experience where you had to work with a random teammate, which sounds good in theory, but was frustrating in practice. They added proximity chat so you could hear enemies talking, which led to hilarious and terrifying moments. The new circle system split players into multiple zones that eventually converged, and strongholds offered high-value loot with AI enemies guarding them. DMZ mode turned Warzone into a PvP-VE extraction shooter, where you completed contracts and extracted with loot. But the changes divided the community. Some loved the innovation, others missed the simplicity of the original. The UI was confusing. It was ambitious and technically impressive, but it felt like fixing something that wasn't broken. The player count dropped, the reception was mixed, and it struggled to find its identity in a crowded battle royale market.
Modern Warfare 3, 2023.
The continuation that felt like expensive DLC. Basically, Modern Warfare 2 Part 2 with a short campaign, nostalgic multiplayer maps, and open-world zombies that nobody wanted. The story was rushed, The campaign was over in 4 hours, and the whole package felt incomplete. Multiplayer was fine, but most maps were just remasters from previous games. Most fans were disappointed. Critics were lukewarm. But it still sold millions because it had Call of Duty on the cover, a lazy sequel that coasted on brand recognition. And that's every Modern Warfare game. From the revolutionary original that changed everything, to the chaotic sequel that broke every rule, to the emotional finale that killed soap, to the reboot that saved the franchise, and finally to the sequels that couldn't quite capture that same magic. The Modern Warfare series proved that Call of Duty could evolve, take risks, and set trends instead of following them. Some entries were masterpieces, others were disappointments, but together they created a legacy that defined a generation of gaming. Whether you're a Day One veteran or a Warzone convert, the Modern Warfare series has something that keeps pulling us back, even when it stumbles, even when it disappoints. We keep coming back for that next mission, that next match, that next moment of pure gaming perfection.